I grew up in the church. I don't think I found the Lord. He found me. My wife was going in to have a breast reduction surgery. We was married for 41 days. We got married on the last game. I was in San Diego. We played the Oakland Raiders, and we got married that night after the game. And from there, she went off to get a breast reduction surgery to get ready for our big wedding in June 8th. And when I was going to meet her, I was on a plane and sat on a plane with a man who owned his own jet company. And he was on American Airlines with me. And we talked about our family the whole time on the flight, and never knowing that when we land, I would get a phone call that says my wife stopped breathing on the table. That was one of the things that really shifted my life when I had to pull a cord at 28, having millions of dollars and nothing could help me at that moment. I lost all purpose for finances, for everything. That's where the biggest time I believe my faith was tested. And I remember pulling the cord, and I told God to let his will be done in my life. And from then on, everything has just been a teaching moment from God showing me how real he truly is in my life. And I can't let go of his hand at this point.
I got diagnosed with cancer when I was 38 years old. And that was God telling me that, my voice wasn't being used for the right reasons. I had throat cancer. And so I got through that battle. And then one day I woke up and I realized you cannot live a life and you can't really communicate with God unless you're broken. And so I started taking that feeling of being broken. I started fasting for the first time. I started praying for the first time. And I gotta tell you, the Holy Spirit took over me, took over my family, and I'm on a journey now, and I'll never turn back.
Devon, we're familiar with your story because you've been on Fox before with your daughter, Leah. How's she doing now?
She's doing really good. We got a couple more months until she turns 5 years in remission, which means she'll officially be cancer-free, but we're just fighting.
How old was she when she was diagnosed?
4.
And what type of cancer was it?
She had stage 4 neuroblastoma, which is a nerve tissue form of cancer.
And doctors told you 50-50 chance that
Yeah,
she wouldn't make
they
it.
told us that she had a 50% chance of surviving if the treatment went well, which is, it's tough for any parent to hear because you want to hear 100%, right? You want to do everything you can to protect your children, but sometimes you're put in a position where you can't. And the only thing you can really do is just lean on our heavenly doctor and hopefully that he brings our child through that storm.
How did you come to know the Lord?
I always knew God growing up from going to church, with my grandmom sparingly, but I didn't have a relationship with God until my second year in the NFL, where it just felt like, my life was falling apart. Like I had dislocated my elbow against the Lions, and I fought my way back from that. Then I blew out my back against the Steelers, and I ended up having back surgery. And a week later, I got rushed to the hospital, with blood clots in my lungs. And if I didn't make it to the hospital when I did, I probably wouldn't be here today talking to you. And, my wife had approached me, and she told me that something was missing from my life, that we needed to do something different because whatever we were doing, it wasn't working. So she came up with the idea that we needed to get back into church. So that's what we did. And it was the best decision that, I ever did. It's the best decision she ever did because we started to build our foundation, right? And 2 months later, we ended up getting baptized. And I felt like it was just perfect timing because 2 months later, I was hit with, a storm that I never seen coming.